Okay, if you could be a character in any book or movie, who would it be? Okay, so today you're going to be thinking about a character of a book that we have read or you have read, or a movie character. Okay. What would you do differently, and what would you do the same as the character? Why? Okay. So what would you do the same that the character usually does? And what would be something different that you would do that the character usually does not? Okay. So you have to think about what would you do the same and what would you do different. So get your writing journal. Okay, so on the date, give me a second. Okay, with the date, we're going to start with today is? And remember, it's like in the classroom, it has the little lines because that's where you have to complete writing the word. Okay, so today is Friday, April 17, 2020. There. Okay, so today is Friday, April 17, 2020. And now, if you could be a character in any book or movie, who would it be? If I was blank, so you're going to write, if I was the little red hen, if I was Superman. Remember, it's a character from a book or a movie. So if I was blank, I would do the same
The question is, how are you today?
Okay, so if I was the little red hen, I would do the same of not sharing the bread. Okay, so you have to think, what would you do the same? Okay, so go ahead and finish copying the red with the blanks and then raise your hand when you get done. So we already said which character we would be and what we would do the same. Now we have to think what would be different. Okay, so it says, what would you do differently and what would you do the same as the character? Okay, so let me change the color. I would do different I would do different than, oh, sorry, than the blank, because I would be your character. So I would do different than the little red hen. Okay. I would do different than the little red hen. Okay. My pencil. I would do different than the little red hen. Okay. And then think, what would you do different? If it was the little red hen that I'm writing about, like Ms. Morales, I would do different than the little red hen. I would ask, or I would give I would, and then what would you do? I would give the other characters another chance to help. Okay. Or I would speak to the characters that they would need to help. Okay, so what would you do different than what the character usually does in the story? Or in the movie? Okay, so you're writing something that you would do the same and something that you would do different than the character. When you finish copying the writing prompt with the blanks, raise your hand, please. So we're going to read the story once, and then we're going to work on our close reading. That means looking for the text evidence to answer the questions. Okay, ready? So finger on the title. Okay, raise your hand if you're ready with your packet. That way I know you're ready to go on. Okay, Milan, Angel, Dylan. We're going to get started. Finger on the title so that we could read it together. Okay, ready? So it's Earth Day Fun. I wanted to do something to help the earth because we had been learning about Earth Day. I asked my friends to help. We went around the playground and picked up lots of trash. We are really helping the earth, my friend Mia said. Let's go to the park and clean up there too. After school, we went to the park and picked up trash by the pond. So that the water would be safe and clean for the animals that live there. It was fun helping the earth today, Mia said. Let's do this all the time. Okay, now raise your hand if you practiced your fluency yesterday. Okay. Okay, so let's read question number 2. We read yesterday. Let's review number 1. Okay, first number 1. What made the child decide to do something to help the earth? Okay, so it's they had been learning about Earth Day. And let me go back because right now when I was erasing the red dots, the red line erased. Okay. Okay, let me change the color. Okay, so go get, you have your crayons with you. Okay, pick any color. If you don't have purple, it's fine. You could use any color. What was the first thing the children did to help the earth? Okay, so we have to look for the text evidence that tells us what was the first thing they did to help the earth. Okay, so look for your answer on the side of the story. Okay, so what was the first thing that they did to help the earth? Okay, put your finger on the answer. Okay, we went around the playground and picked up lots of trash. So that's the first thing they did to help the earth. Okay, now again, like yesterday, we. Are we in the story, Miss Morales and the boys and girls? No, we are not in the story. So we're not going to write we are going to write they. Okay, so now let's go so that we can write our answer. Give me the packet. Let me start the stories. Okay, so. Stories. They okay, so they picked up lots of trash. period. Okay, so they picked up lots of trash. That's the first thing they did. Okay, raise your hand when you're done. Okay, and remember we circle it with that color. Okay, so it's how did picking up trash by the pond help the animals? Okay, so how did picking up the trash by the pond help the animals? Okay, how did it help them? Go ahead and tell me, how did it help them? Okay, how did it help them? Okay, now let's look very good for the answer. Okay, for the water to be clean for them to drink. Let's look for the text evidence in the story. Okay, let's look for the text evidence in the story. Okay, so after school, okay, after school, we went to the park and picked up trash by the pond so that the water, so our answer is right here. There we go. And that's our answer, okay? How would it help the animals? The water would be safe and clean for the animals. Okay, so that's what we're going to be writing for our answer for question 4. Okay, so finish underlining it. Okay, and then we're going to start writing it on number 4. The water, okay, the water would be safe and clean for the, sorry, for the animals, right there. So the water would be safe and clean for the animals. For our text, okay, for our text evidence, and our answer is the water would be safe and clean for the animals. Okay, now we're going to be reading number 4. Question number 4. Okay. What could you do to help the earth on Earth Day? Okay, so how can you take care of the earth?